Welcome to the Word for Life podcast, a daily devotional covering the entire Bible from Genesis to Revelation.
In Judges chapter 17, we read about a man named Micah. First, Micah's mother loses 1100 shekels of silver, which was a significant amount of money. And then it turns out that it is her son Micah who had stolen it. But Micah finds out that his mother had pronounced a curse on the robber, so he returns the silver he had stolen to his mother. You see, the 8th commandment prohibited stealing, but that is not the reason why Micah returned the silver. He seems to be afraid of his mother's curse. And then, when Micah returns the silver, the mother praises the Lord and gives a thanksgiving offering to the Lord. The offering, shockingly, is an idol. Let's read verse 3 and 4. When he returned the 1100 shekels of silver to his mother, she said, I solemnly consecrate my silver to the Lord for my son, to make an image overlaid with silver. I will give it back to you. So after he returned the silver to his mother, she took 200 shekels of silver and gave them to a silversmith who used them to make the idol, and it was put in Micah's house. Friends, we all know that the first and second commandment strictly prohibited having any other gods or making an idol. But here in the story, Micah's mother acknowledges the Lord but still makes an idol. This means she worships the Lord in her own way. Her son Micah also follows the Lord, but verse 5 sadly says, Now this man Micah had a shrine, and he made an ephod and some household gods, and installed one of his sons as his priest. Friends, even today we live in such a scenario. Some believers claim to follow the Lord, but they follow the Lord in their own way. They have wrong ideas of the Lord. The Bible author of Judges provides a reason for such a situation in Israel. In verse 6 he says, In those days Israel had no king. Everyone did as they saw fit. You see, we must not misunderstand what the author is saying here. He does not say that Israel needed a king, or because there was no king, this happened. You see, later Israel had kings, but so many of them disobeyed the law of the Lord. So the author is not suggesting that Israel needed a king. All that the author is saying is that in the days when Israel did not have a king, everyone was doing whatever they wanted, and that too in the name of the Lord. Israelites followed the Lord in their own wrong ways. From verse 7, we continue to read about Micah. Now he finds a Levite who is poor and looking for a place to stay. Verse 10 says, Then Micah said to him, Live with me and be my father and priest, and I'll give you 10 shekels of silver a year, your clothes and your food. You see, earlier, this man Micah, in verse 5, we read, had a shrine and some household gods, and installed one of his sons as his priest. Now in verse 12, Micah installed the Levite as his priest, and the Levite lived in his house. Friends, Levites are supposed to serve the Lord in the tabernacle, but now this Levite has become the personal priest in the shrine of Micah, where there was an ephod and household gods. The last verse of the chapter says, in verse 13, Micah said, Now I know that the Lord will be good to me, since this Levite has become my priest. Did you notice that Micah uses the name of the Lord, but he is so unaware of God's laws and God's ways? He thinks that the Lord will bless him because he has got a Levite for his shrine, which has other gods. Friends, even today there is a greater need to clearly understand God and understand the Bible. God's people sometimes follow the Lord in their own way or in the way that is comfortable to them. You see, when people are unaware of the truth, they will create their own religion and also call it the Christian faith. They will follow God in their own ways. That is why in Ephesians chapter 1 verse 17, Paul prayed for the Ephesians. He said, I keep asking that the God of our Lord Jesus Christ, the glorious Father, may give you the spirit of wisdom and revelation so that you may know Him better. Friends, let this be our prayer today, that we will know Him better and as He is.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow for the next episode of the Word for Life podcast.